One of the number one questions we get when we answer any phone call for potential property owners or landlords that are coming into the Keyrenter system is how much can my property lease for? And that's a loaded question because, as you can imagine, it really depends on the time of year. So currently, as we're recording this video, we're in early spring, late winter. And this is a really slow time of year. The better times of the year to lease your property is in spring, usually from about April to June. And then, kind of the first part of summer, and then the end of summer or fall, which is really August through September. Once October hits, leasing dies down a lot. And that stands to reason because it follows the school schedule. When school is out of session, people are making moves and changes, to follow their kids or to help their kids with that transition. And then when school is back in session, the same thing happens. So those are our busy seasons. So it really is going to depend on multiple factors, including the condition of the property. And we're going to go through very carefully when we talk to you at first, our first conversation, ask you about the property. What does it look like? What is the condition? What is the layout? How show-worthy is it? That kind of thing. And is it somewhere where they would like to, where tenants would potentially like to live? So we'll ask you about that. We'll ask you about the location. Where is it located and what part of the city, and what's nearby. We'll ask you about some of the rental rates that you may or may not know in that area. And if not, we'll do the research and help you find that and figure that part out. And then we're also going to look for, other comps in the area about certain, different rentals that are options that may be similar to yours or not, and kind of the pricing that we have for those. Unfortunately, the markets that dictate lease rates, they vary from market to market, even from city to city. We are fortunate to belong to a large Keyrenter system, so we can get rental market rates in Philadelphia and Boston and Georgia and Texas and Tennessee. But what we find is typically those rental rates are so different than what's happening in Utah. And what we're finding even in Utah is Saratoga Springs is totally different than Provo, which is different than Springville, which is different than, Linden. So or even in the St. George market, that's going to be different than, Hurricane versus St. George versus, down in the Bloomington area or over in Santa Clara. So we really take a very micro approach to rental rates and kind of a vicinity of maybe 1 to 2, maybe 3 miles to make sure that it's localized and it really is a value add for your property in that specific location. So it's a loaded question, and we will do the research and make sure that we do the best job because we're trying to maximize your rents and keep it competitive so it gets rented as fast as possible. So thanks for using Keyrenter, Provo and St. George.